Great. What we're going to do is I'm going to kind of just do a quick little dog and pony show to kind of get everybody oriented. You're welcome to click right along with me. Feel free to click on something. If you wonder what it is, please just check it out, okay? It's not going to hurt you. Lots of times it'll prompt you, like if it says submit or search or something like that, it's very friendly. If it says create or final or, like it tries to prompt you a little bit on some of those buttons, okay? What we're going to do is I'm going to show you just a small little overview of the interface, okay? Every single page has a little logo at the top, okay? And your logo will determine, you can actually set that. We have some defaults that we set, but it can be lots of different things. I'm going to be flipping around. You guys may not be able to do this, but I just wanted to show you really quick, like just what it might look like as if it was different. You can see how this logo is completely different than the other one, and the color schemes are different. So Sam, for your mixing business, you could have some cool little, guy in a hoodie or whatever, just kind of like for your logo. As you switch to different little things, the reason that we use the basic colors is the Adilas colors are basically the default colors. So if you were in the Logan training one, you'll notice that it looks very similar to the Adilas colors. That's why you get your default colors, okay? We can change this, it's a piece of cake, but the home, your home screen is basically where you land, like where you start. What you have to do is almost imagine like this virtual world where you go into this area. And I'm just going to show you a small little thing, okay? You see this target? Pretend like you're landing right on the yellow spot here, okay? And then where do you want to jump? Pew, 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 pew. But if you're ever lost, say you're way out in the realm and you want to get back, you say home, and then you can jump. Or there's other ways that you can go around the circle, but I want you to kind of think of your home page as like the yellow part of the target, okay? So every single thing has a home. There's different ways. The logo, the link, there's also a link at the bottom of the page. So no matter where you're at, I could be at a totally different page. It doesn't even matter. If I want to get home, I have three options. Home, home, or home. And any one of those will take me right back to what I have chosen as my home page. Okay? The next thing, this is very important, this is called Chooser. There's one at the top and the bottom. Okay? The Chooser, what it does is it allows you to choose which kind of interface you like. We currently, you can see it says, my current default is set to the classic homepage. The reason we have it called the classic homepage is we used this interface for 6 years before we even started developing any of the other ones. By default, every single corporation has the option of a map. So you could go to customers or shopping cart or inventory or bank or deposits or payroll or settings. Like it's kind of a map-oriented one. Okay, that's called our interactive map. Another one is called the My Favorites, which is kind of a button-oriented system. Now you can see here anything that is active of the buttons I can click on. Okay, anything that is inactive means permissions that I don't have assigned yet. Okay. So on the left-hand side, it kind of goes in an alphabetical order and kind of lets you go to your certain things. So if you wanted to go to Invoice and the Invoice homepage, you could just click on it right there, and you'd be right where you wanted to go. Okay? So once again, we were kind of dealing with the Chooser page. The neat thing about the Chooser is we'll be able to switch back and forth. There's a button that allows you to set something as your default. Just for fun, why don't we all set the interactive map as our default? So inside, where you're logged in, why don't you set that as the default? And then go ahead and click your home button, either your logo or one of your home links, and it should take you right to your interactive map. Okay?
You recommend not using, when you're working with people, not using the back browser button?
No, it's your friend. It depends on when you use it. So the question was, is your back browser button? Yeah. Because we're in a browser, we get automatic functionality. We get back buttons, forward buttons, we get finds, prints, we get search capabilities, we get hyperlinks. Like, we love that kind of stuff. That's why we ride on the browser. Your back button, we actually put a little back button right here in your header. Okay? If I do an error message, watch this. Hit go. I've got a little back button. This is virtually a back button right here.
Do you recommend that we use that back button versus the browser button? Or
you know what? They're the exact same. The main difference is, and this is on a technical side, but a link has a little piece of JavaScript, which is technically a coding language that says, go back a step, okay? Your back button does the exact same JavaScript action, it's built into your browser.
Are there any security issues? I mean, sometimes like in banking items and stuff, when you're banking, they say don't use your browser back button because of the security.
Okay.
Is that an issue ever?
No,
Okay.
no. The only issue that you ever have with back buttons, and as long as we're talking about it, we may as well bring up that issue.
Yeah.
The only issue you have with a back button is, say you're adding a new customer, and you type in your customer, and you hit submit. Go, oh man, I forgot to enter his email address. If you hit back and you enter an email address and hit submit again, you just duplicated that record. Okay? It's only in the add mode that there's a possible problem with the back button. Okay? But often what we will do is I'll even make a change on something, I'll hit back, and then I'll hit refresh on the report that I was working on, and it automatically will pull it up. We love the browser. Like we endorse that. The other cool thing about the back button, and each one is different, if you have a little drop down right here, you can click it and you can actually jump multiple pages back at a time. That's very handy. If you're not in Internet Explorer, you can actually click and hold that back button and it'll create a little drop down list for you. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and go back home. We're here on the map, and we're still just kind of talking about these basic pieces along the top here, okay? You'll notice that all of a sudden we have these little drop-down boxes. We didn't have this before. So if I was on a classic home page, you'll notice that there's not those little special boxes. Well, what we did is there's a thing called the quick search, and it's driven off of permissions. And this is the quick search. This is on the classic home page. This actually used to be the only place that it existed. But what ended up happening is people were like, man, I really like that functionality because I can virtually jump anywhere. Imagine this little target here. Say you're here in the middle and you wanted to jump to the black ring. And then you wanted to go blue, and then you want to go without hitting the home. That's what the quick search allows you to do. Or say you wanted to search all of your invoices or all of your customers or certain parts. Your quick search is huge. It's one of the pieces. And the reason that we actually didn't have it here on the classic homepage is it was written out this way, kind of the longer version. But any other page you go to, it actually will have it as a miniature version right up here, okay? This is the exact same quick search, it's just in line. So every page has it. So if I go to the map and I go to quote homepage, guess what? Here's my quick search. I have it on every page. And here's how you can jump really fast. Watch this. Say I went invoice, home. So I virtually, just like that little target, I was on the quote homepage and I virtually just went right over. I didn't even have to go back home. It just allows you to jump. And there's a really neat help file that will help you on that, and that's one of our next little options. So coming across the top, we've talked about home and chooser. Log out, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you log out, it kills your session. And your session is basically special little variables that your computer stores while you're kind of like doing work. So Madeline, if you were talking online baking, that whole thing is in what's called a session. Okay? What it does is the computer says, oh, Madeline logged in, I'm going to hold hands with Madeline a little while she's here. If Madeline waits too long to interact, basically what happens is the session's like, I'm sorry, you're no longer, you didn't play quick enough, so we logged you out. In Adilas, you have a 2-hour session. Okay?
There we go.
So that should be plenty of time. It actually used to be 20 minutes way back in the day, and what would happen was is some of our salespeople were out on the lot. Like this whole application kind of came from the car and vehicle industry, and then we morphed it into kind of like a general business practice type thing. But they would be out on the lot helping their person, and they'd come back in and, oh man, I have to log in. Then they have to go help somebody else. Oh, I have to log in. So we kind of lengthened that out. It's a 2-hour window.
So that's 2 hours if you're not doing anything. That's from the time that you stop doing something.
Perfect. I love it. That is correct. Okay. So if I'm typing, the server doesn't know I'm doing anything. It's basically how many times am I playing paths back and forth with the server. That's what happens. So I can work on it for hours and hours on end. I can be on it for 20 hours long if I wanted to, but I'm constantly like within that 2-hour window at least touching the server one time. Okay? And then all of a sudden, oh, I still know you're here. And then it starts that 2-hour window over again, just like you were saying.
Banks log out a session, is that a security issue really?
What's that?
Banks, why is that session so short? Is it a
Yeah.
security
It is a
thing?
security issue.
Okay.
Yep. And what we have here a lot of times is sometimes we'll have people, like if you're just at your desk, you're usually using things within 20 minutes. That's not a problem. But if you're doing retail or you're trying to help somebody or somebody's on the phone, like things happen. If at any point in time, if you're like, oh my goodness, I want out, here's what you do. You literally say, log out. And then even if I try to use my back button, watch this. Say, wow, I'm back in the application. If I hit refresh on this page, it'll virtually say, I'm sorry.
So if you knew you were leaving, the logout would take care of that. Can a company choose different from the 2 hours?
No,
somebody-
not right now.
Okay.
Right now, basically it's a 2-hour window block. What it is that's set way up high on kind of the universe level. Okay.
So how come you don't have your refresh tied to your logout? Log out and it does a refresh.
Okay, so that's tons and tons of JavaScript. But watch this. Watch this. I was just on an interactive map, wasn't I? Okay, so I'm technically logged out. Say I actually try to click on something. Okay. Like I actually have active links. I can still see it, but because my session has been severed, when I click on this right here, it's going to automatically kick me out. Okay, so I can look at it, but I just can't interact with it. It still just exists. It's just memory that exists. Mark, that would be incredibly tough to actually say, oh, by the way, we're going to now go into your browser history, clean everything up from there, and like, I'm not touching that. So you can see it, but you can't reestablish that particular. Okay, and we'll just jump back into Logan training. Okay, so we talked home, chooser, logout, print. That's pretty self-explanatory. Help. Every single page has a help file, top or bottom, header or footer. It's very important that you know this because each one is different. This one here is the help file for the interactive map. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Lots of verbiage all around, okay? If I go to a different spot, say for instance I went to this particular page. Oh, I don't have permissions for that one right here. No problem. If I go here and I hit help here, lots of times there's help files here. They go to the same spot, but it's different verbiage. So this is help for the Parts and General Inventory homepage. Every single one, when you get to the help file, you have YouTube videos, you have quick search help, you have a way to contact support, you have the starting of a small manual. We don't have the manual all the way done, but every page has a help file on it, okay? If you click on YouTube videos, watch it. I'm just going to go home so you can see it. Any page has a help file, YouTube training videos. It'll kind of walk you through some different little pieces of the pie. And you can add your little YouTube training video in here. You click it, and it will actually start playing you through whatever some of your pieces are. I'll just let this one play just the first little piece here.
Look, Dallas, this is a tutorial.
It's just a small little tutorial. Okay, once again, at any point in time, I can click on a logo and it'll take me right back to my home page, whatever I've set as my default. Back button. You guys may not have this little link in yours. This is if you have multiple corporations, okay? If you don't have multiple corporations, you won't even see this link at all. The whole thing was driven dynamically according to your permissions and what you have. Okay? If you do have it, it's this easy to switch to a new one. Say I wanted to go to More Digital Ideas. This is a company that I own for my consulting business. Okay? All of a sudden I have the new look and feel, and I can go to wherever I wanted to go on it. Say I wanted to say, hey, I wanted to see one of my customers for Colorado Mountain College, you know, or whatever I wanted to do. Okay, I could go right into them. I could say, hey, what have they done for me, et cetera, you know, like just some small little pieces. But basically, what I wanted to show you is the switch corporation doesn't exist unless you actually have multiple corporations. Otherwise, you're playing in your own little entity, and you don't get to flip-flop out of that. Okay. The other little piece of the puzzle is right over here. This is a little quick calendar. So any page you're on, it doesn't even matter. This little calendar will pop up a little calendar to kind of like help you know like what your date range is. You can change it. You can flip-flop things all around. If you just want a single month, you can change it and it'll organize it. If you want to stretch it way out, no problem. Like you can just kind of stretch some things out. Okay, it allows up to 365 days. If you have other permissions, there's some other links there, but it's just a quick calendar from any page of the application. These are kind of just standard features. You always have the date, and then this little guy is a pretty big piece of the puzzle. Okay, this is actually the name of the of the page. So whichever page you go to, it'll actually change to that. So if you're ever calling to tech support, guess what we ask you? Which page are you on? So you'll basically be able to say, hey, I'm on the interactive map homepage. Okay, so that's where it tells you right there on every single page. The cool thing is if you use your back history button, guess what? Those same names exist right here in your back history. So if I wanted to go back to the payroll homepage, I'm right back to that spot. That's the name or the title of that page. Every single one has that. So for instance, even if I was in an invoice and I said I did number 12, printable invoice, that's the name of that particular page. Okay.
So if I'm on Mozilla, where's my back?
Okay, each browser is different, okay? And I'm just going to kind of look over your shoulder here real quick.
So,
Okay, that's your back button right there. Click and hold if you want it to. Then you can go to wherever you want it. Okay. Yep. So each
I
browser
was
is
thinking
slightly
I could
different.
just scroll over it, but it's.
No, you actually have to interact with that. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so any questions so far? This is kind of just a light introduction. What we did is we basically said, hey, we have a home page, and we can choose which one we're going to do, and then we can bounce from there, okay? It's always like that target. You kind of start in the yellow, and then you're bouncing out to different pieces of that puzzle, okay? I'm going to show you one other thing as long as we're talking about a target. Everybody find a help file. It doesn't matter which one. Any help file, and I want you to click on the Adilas Quick Search Help, which is a sub of the help file. We were talking about a target. I wanted to kind of bring up this little piece of the puzzle to kind of show you how things are organized, okay? Like, I just briefly showed you the target, but technically it actually splinters and goes into multiple different pieces. And what you have is your main home page. That's your hub, okay? Your next one are your sub-home pages. Invoices, deposits, expenses, vendors, users, parts, okay? So you kind of start getting into those little pieces. Your next one out kind of starts getting into some of the features of those. Can I search it? Can I add it? Can I do this? Can I, like, what are some of the functions and features of that particular piece? And then way out is kind of what we call the data level, which is where all your pieces reside. So if I was following an invoice path, and let's go straight down these little blue lines here, homepage, invoice homepage, all of my different little functions, sales tax, advanced search, who owes me money, like those are all subs of invoices, okay? And then way out here at the end, these are all my physical invoices. I have an invoice to Cheryl with 3 items, and I have this, and I have this. That's how every single section is stacked, okay? It'll kind of just help you know roughly how things are organized, okay? This is a great help file if you wanted to, and you wanted to use the quick search. You'd want to come in here and actually read a specific section. We were just talking about invoices. Shannon, can I call on you right here to read this invoice section right here?
Yes, indeed. Invoices. These are for items that have been sold or transferred. Search values are numeric, actual invoice number, go right to the printable invoice. New, start new shopping cart. Last, go to the last invoice that was created by you. ADV, short for the advanced search. Home, go to the invoice homepage. All, get all invoices in the system. And general alpha search, match any part of the customer name that was assigned to the invoice.
Awesome. So each section has ways that you can interact with the quick search, okay? So watch this. I'm going to get to a spot where I have a quick search. Invoice, watch this. It says ADV. I'm now at the advanced invoice search, which has tons of options, okay? It said I could do invoice last. Boom. The last one that I created was number 14 on 528, okay? If I knew a specific number, it says you could do a number. Say I wanted to go to invoice 3. Boop. This one was created also by me. It looks like some oranges and some apples and some string cheese. You know, just like there's lots of different ways that you can do it. I can go home, click, right to the invoice homepage. The quick search is very handy. Once you learn how to use it, it will become your friend. That's why it's on every single page.